Have you ever felt the weight of fear pressing down on your chest, making it hard to breathe? Have you lain awake at night, your mind racing with worries that seem to have no end? You are not alone. Millions of people battle the same storm, but there is hope, a way out, and it begins with surrender. A fear and anxiety can feel like chains, binding us to a cycle of doubt and despair. They whisper lies in our ears, telling us we aren't strong enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But let me tell you something, those whispers are not the truth. The truth is far greater than any fear or worry that tries to hold us captive. There's an ancient wisdom that reminds us we were never meant to carry these burdens alone. When we try to shoulder them by ourselves, they grow heavier, darker, more suffocating. Yet, when we release them, when we hand them over, we find peace beyond understanding. It's a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a freedom that comes from knowing we're held in hands far stronger than our own. So, how do we fight back against this grip of fear? How do we reclaim our peace? We start by speaking words of faith, even if our voices tremble. We declare that fear will not rule us, that anxiety does not define us. There's power in prayer. It's not just a ritual or a habit, it's a lifeline. A cry for help, a plea for strength, a reminder that we don't have to face life's battles unarmed. Let me share what such a prayer might sound like. Picture yourself kneeling, standing, or simply sitting still, breathing deeply as you say, I am weary from carrying this load of fear. I bring it to you now, laying it down because I cannot carry it anymore. Replace my anxious thoughts with your calm presence. Fill me with courage where there is fear, clarity where there is confusion, and rest where there is unrest. Help me trust that tomorrow is in your hands, so I don't have to control it today. These words may feel small, but their impact can be monumental. Speaking them aloud shifts something inside us. It reminds us that we are not powerless victims of our emotions. We have access to a source of strength far greater than ourselves. And when we tap into that power, we begin to see change. Not overnight perhaps, but steadily, surely. Remember, fear thrives in isolation. It loves silence, grows bigger in the dark corners of our minds. But when we bring it into the light, when we name it and confront it, it loses its hold. Talk about your fears with someone you trust, with a higher power, or even with yourself. Give them a voice and then give them away. And here's the beautiful part. Every time you choose faith over fear, you take one step closer to freedom. Every act of surrender chips away at the walls anxiety has built around you. Over time, you'll realize those walls aren't as tall as they once seemed. In fact, they can crumble completely under the weight of persistent hope. Fear and anxiety often creep into our lives when we least expect them. They don't announce themselves with trumpets or warning signs. Instead, they slip through cracks we didn't even know existed. A missed opportunity at work, an unexpected bill, a strained relationship. These moments can feel like tiny fissures in our foundation. But left unaddressed, they widen, letting doubt and worry seep deeper until we're overwhelmed. It's important to recognize that fear isn't inherently bad. In fact, it serves a purpose. It alerts us to danger, sharpens our instincts, and pushes us to act wisely. The problem arises when fear takes over, when it becomes the loudest voice in our minds, drowning out reason, hope, and faith. That's when fear stops being protective and starts becoming paralyzing. And if you've ever felt paralyzed by fear, you already know how exhausting it can be. But here's the good news: fear doesn't have the final say. We do. Every single one of us has within us the ability to push back against fear's grip. It begins with understanding that fear is not some invincible force. It's just a feeling. Yes, it feels real, but feelings aren't facts. Feelings come and go, rise and fall, ebb and flow. What matters most is what we choose to do despite those feelings. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward even when fear is present. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who seem fearless in the face of adversity. Do you think they never feel afraid? Of course they do. The difference is they refuse to let fear dictate their decisions. They acknowledge it, maybe even wrestle with it, but ultimately they don't let it win. You can do the same. You might not be able to eliminate fear entirely, but you can learn to manage it. You can take control of the narrative playing in your mind. One powerful way to combat fear is through gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's wrong to what's right. When we're consumed by fear, it's easy to get tunnel vision, fixating only on problems and worst-case scenarios. Gratitude breaks that cycle. Start small. Look around you. What do you see that you're thankful for? Maybe it's the roof over your head, the food on your table, the air filling your lungs. These may seem like simple things, but acknowledging them reminds us that life isn't all doom and gloom. There's beauty, even in the midst of chaos. Gratitude also opens the door to hope. Hope is the antidote to despair. It whispers, this won't last forever. It reassures us that brighter days are ahead, even when the current moment feels unbearably dark. And while hope alone won't solve every problem, it gives us the strength to keep going, to put one foot in front of the other, to believe that tomorrow holds possibilities we can't yet see. Another tool in fighting fear is community. Fear thrives in silence and isolation. It loves to whisper, you're the only one struggling. Everyone else has it together. But that's a lie. Everyone struggles. Everyone battles fears and doubts. The key difference is whether we carry those burdens alone or share them with others. Opening up to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a counselor, can make all the difference. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. It says, I'm willing to admit I need help because I value my well-being too much to suffer in silence. Or when we connect with others, we realize we're not as alone as we thought. Someone else has walked the path you're on right now. Someone else has faced the same fears and emerged stronger on the other side. Hearing their stories can inspire us to keep moving forward. Knowing we're part of something bigger, a community of imperfect, striving, hopeful humans, reminds us that we belong. Belonging brings peace. Peace silences fear. And then there's prayer. Prayer is more than words spoken into empty air. It's communication with a power greater than ourselves. Some call it God. Some call it the universe. Some simply call it love. Whatever name you use, prayer taps into a source of strength that transcends human limitations. It's a reminder that we're not meant to navigate life's storms alone. There's help available if we're willing to ask for it. Prayer doesn't require fancy language or perfect eloquence. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about connecting deeply. It's okay to stumble over your words. It's okay to cry or shout or whisper. What matters is honesty. Pour out your heart. Share your fears, your frustrations, your longings. Be raw, be real. Because when you bring your authentic self to prayer, you create space for transformation. Imagine saying, I'm scared. I don't know what to do next. Please guide me. Or, my mind won't stop racing. Help me find rest. These aren't weak confessions. They're bold declarations of trust. By admitting your need, you invite divine intervention. You open yourself to receive comfort, wisdom, and peace. Prayer isn't magic. It won't instantly erase every challenge, but it will anchor you. It will remind you that you're supported, loved, and never truly alone. Let's talk about action too. Fear often tricks us into thinking we're powerless. It convinces us to stay stuck, to avoid risks, to play it safe. But staying stuck only feeds fear. Action, on the other hand, starves it. Taking even the smallest step toward your goal sends a message to fear: you don't control me. Whether it's updating your resume, reaching out to a friend, or simply getting out of bed when everything feels heavy, action builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence conquers fear. Of course, taking action doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It's okay to feel afraid. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Emotions are valid, but they shouldn't dictate your choices. Instead, acknowledge them, honor them, and then gently set them aside as you move forward. You'll likely discover that once you start acting, fear begins to shrink. It loses its grip because you've taken away its power. Self-care plays a crucial role in this process as well. Fighting fear requires energy, and energy comes from taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Are you getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, moving your body regularly? These habits might seem unrelated to fear, but they lay a strong foundation for resilience. When your body feels healthy and rested, your mind is better equipped to handle stress and anxiety. Mental self-care is equally important. Limit exposure to negativity, whether it's toxic relationships, overwhelming news cycles, or social media comparisons. Surround yourself with uplifting content instead. Read inspiring books. Listen to encouraging podcasts. Watch movies that leave you feeling hopeful. Your environment shapes your mindset, so curate it intentionally. Emotional self-care involves giving yourself permission to feel without judgment. Too often, we criticize ourselves for experiencing fear or anxiety as if these emotions are signs of failure. But they're not failures, they're signals. signals that something needs attention, that boundaries need setting, that rest needs prioritizing. Treat yourself with kindness. Speak to yourself the way you'd speak to a dear friend who's hurting. Compassion softens fear's edges. Now, let's revisit prayer for a moment. While individual prayers are powerful, collective prayers amplify that power. There's something extraordinary about joining voices with others, lifting each other up in shared hope and faith. If you're part of a spiritual community, lean into it. Attend gatherings, participate in discussions, offer support to those around you. Even if you're not religious, finding a group of like-minded individuals committed to growth and encouragement can work wonders. Together, you create a network of strength that helps everyone rise above fear. Remember, fear tries to convince you that you're inadequate, that you're unworthy, that you'll never measure up. None of that is true. You are worthy, not because of what you've accomplished, but because of who you are. Your existence alone makes you valuable. Your presence matters. Your contributions, no matter how small they may seem, ripple outward in ways you might never fully understand. Fear also tells you that the future is uncertain and therefore terrifying. And yes, the future is uncertain. Life is unpredictable, but uncertainty isn't necessarily bad. Uncertainty leaves room for possibility, for miracles, for opportunities you couldn't have imagined. Rather than fearing the unknown, embrace it. Trust that whatever comes your way, you'll handle it. You've handled every challenge thus far, haven't you? Each trial has taught you something new, made you stronger, wiser, more resilient. This time will be no different. Sometimes fear stems from past experiences. Traumas, failures, rejections, they linger, casting shadows over our present and future. Healing from these wounds takes time, patience, and effort. Don't rush the process. Allow yourself to grieve, to reflect, to seek professional help if needed. Forgiveness plays a role here, too. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. Let go of guilt and shame. They weigh you down unnecessarily. Release them through prayer, journaling, or heartfelt conversations. Freedom awaits on the other side. As you continue this journey, remember that progress isn't linear. Some days will feel victorious, while others may feel like setbacks. That's normal. Growth happens in waves, not straight lines. Celebrate the victories, no matter how minor they seem. Did you face a fear today? That's worth celebrating. Did you practice gratitude? Worth celebrating. Did you simply survive another day? Absolutely worth celebrating. Celebrate not just the big milestones, but the tiny steps along the way. Each step counts. Each effort matters. Over time, those seemingly insignificant actions add up to monumental change. So be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Progress, however slow, is still progress. Incorporate mindfulness practices into your daily routine. Mindfulness keeps you grounded in the present moment, where fear loses much of its power. Anxiety often stems from worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Mindfulness pulls you back to now, to the sights, sounds, smells, and sensations surrounding you. Focus on your breath. Notice the rhythm of your inhales and exhales. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Grounding exercises like these interrupt fear's spiral and restore calm. Affirmations can also reinforce your inner strength. Repeating positive statements to yourself rewires your brain to focus on truth rather than lies. Try phrases like, I am capable, I am enough, or I am loved, or I am brave. Say them aloud, write them down, post them where you'll see them often. Over time, these affirmations sink deep into your subconscious, replacing fear-based thoughts with empowering beliefs. Another essential aspect of overcoming fear is learning to forgive. Holding on to grudges, resentment, or bitterness fuels fear and anxiety. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of pain. Forgiveness frees you from that cycle. It doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. It means releasing the hold that person or situation has on your heart. Pray for the strength to forgive. Ask for guidance in letting go. As you do, you'll find peace returning to your spirit. Lastly, cultivate joy. Joy is a weapon against fear. It defies fear's attempts to steal your happiness. Find activities that bring you delight, whether it's painting, dancing, hiking, cooking, or laughing with friends. Make time for these things, even amidst challenges. Joy reminds you that life is beautiful, even in the middle of difficulty. It fuels your determination to keep pushing forward, to keep fighting for freedom. So as you stand at this crossroads, facing the fears that threaten to hold you back, remember this: you are stronger than you think. You are braver than you feel. You are loved more deeply than you can imagine. Fear may knock on your door, but you decide whether to let it in. Choose faith. Choose courage, choose freedom, and watch as fear's grip loosens, making way for the peace and confidence you deserve. Keep walking this path one step at a time. Keep believing in the light, even when clouds obscure it. Keep trusting that you are capable, worthy, and loved. And always, always remember, you are not alone. So tonight, wherever you are, whatever you're facing, you know this: you are stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and loved more deeply than you could ever imagine. Take heart, breathe deeply, speak boldly. Freedom is within reach. Take a deep breath. Feel the strength within you. Freedom from fear is closer than you think. Remember this: you hold the power to silence fear and embrace freedom. Every step you take toward faith weakens fear's grip. So choose courage over comfort, hope over despair, and love over fear. Speak boldly, act bravely, and trust deeply. The journey may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. You are stronger than fear. You are braver than anxiety. And you are loved more than you can imagine. Keep moving forward. One step, one breath, one prayer at a time.